If you just start with an opening statement about our first game, and then we'll follow up with questions.
Well, just excited to get the season started. Certainly have an outstanding football team coming in South Alabama, and I think everybody's, it's been an interesting spring and interesting summer, and I think everybody's ready to get the season kicked off and get into some type of normalcy.
Jay, this has been such a different year with COVID and whatnot. What do you think about being the first game or one of the first games in Mississippi during this time?
Yeah, I think it's exciting. It really is. It's again, that's you'll have pretty much all eyes on you, and I think that's an outstanding opportunity for our program and our university. So I think our kids are excited about it too. So it's a great opportunity, and it's just good to get the 2020 college football season started.
South Alabama kind of struggled in offense last year, but I know that it sounds like they're going to have the same starter quarterback they had to end the season, same offensive coordinator. Do you think y'all have a pretty good grasp on what y'all are going to be facing on Thursday?
Well, we're actually, we're getting into South Alabama now, Patrick, getting into game week. So, again, and finish the season strong, had the big win versus Arkansas State. So, we certainly know we've got a great team coming into town, an outstanding football program. I know they'll be well coached. I know they'll play hard. Again, you have to look at the way they finished. They finished strong last year. So, like I tell you, Patrick, you hear it from me every week, but it's true. We always have tough opponents, and this is no exception. So we've got to bring our A game, and we know we got to prepare hard this week.
South Alabama, is that y'all increasingly see kind of show up a lot of the same kids y'all do, and what kind of a rivalry do you see, if any, with them?
I think it's always good to play local teams. I think that's one thing we've done pretty good in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, I think anytime you're playing teams in this region, I think it creates interest. I think the games that fans want to come to, and of course, in this COVID year, our attendance will be limited, but I think it's always good. From South Alabama to we played Mississippi State, Monroe. We have Tulane coming up this year. Jackson State, Alcorn. We try to play as many games in this region as we can. I just think it's what fans want to see, and I think it's good for the game. It's good for football in this area, and so we're excited about the series with South Alabama.
Yeah, you brought up that limited attendance. What have you said to your players about kind of preparing to play when the stadiums are a little lighter than they day?
I think that's something you got to bring your own juice. You really do. I think all coaches will probably be talking to their players about that, but it'll be a different feel. You used to running out with the band, the music going, everything's loud, and the setting this year will be different. But I think our kids have watched enough sports on TV to see how the professional teams are doing it, and it's a little bit different. But the great thing is they get an opportunity to get out and compete and play the game that they love, and so again, it's a positive, even if there's not going to be as large a crowds. I think we're trying to get back to some type of normalcy, and this is the first step.
Do you know if you guys will have band and cheerleaders?
I don't believe we will. Now, you're asking questions that are above my pay grade right now, but I don't believe we will. But I don't quote me on that. I'm positive.
Coach Hopper, y'all is there any difference on the sidelines as far as you guys with communication because of this, or y'all having to take a different approach? And maybe can you go into any of that?
I think everything is pretty, but the game's played between the lines. I think everything is pretty much as is. I mean, you lose a little bit of the festivities, and you lose a little bit of the crowd, and those things will be probably a little bit different. But other than that, as far as what happens between the lines, I don't think there'll be any difference.
This might be a better question for administration than for you, but have you had any conversations with folks from South Alabama about safety and just how to pull this game off without any hitches?
Well, I think they're talking about that daily, and we're trying to take every precaution we can. And I think everybody's doing the best job they can to make sure everything is safe. And again, we're doing all we can do. You know, it's like we talk to our team. All you can do is control the controllables. You can't do anything else. Again, it's been a different spring. It's been a different summer. You know, this year everything's been different. But again, as far as that's concerned, I know we're doing the best job here, and I know the university's trying to make it the safest, best game day experience that we can possibly do.
Coach, I wonder how familiar you are with Coach Campbell. I know he's been, at Mississippi Gulf Coast and Delta State. What do you know about him and maybe his style of coaching? What type of football teams he
Well,
kind of?
Again, Steve and I have known each other for a long time, and again, outstanding football coach. You know, have our utmost respect. Known him for years, and again, he's done a great job everywhere he's been. So we understand we've got a well coached and a really good football team coming into town, and we know we've got to prepare hard this week.
Coach, do you feel like y'all are in a pretty good place health-wise game week?
I do, Patrick, but there's with this coach, there's always transitions, but I do. I feel like we had some bumps and bruises here early in camp, but I believe most everybody's getting back healthy now, so that's a positive. But this is a year like no other year that you could ever imagine. But our guys are getting healthy, so we feel pretty good there.
Obviously, Jay, y'all haven't had to pause practice or anything. How do you feel like you guys have managed the COVID? I mean, I assume you've lost a couple of guys. Maybe they've come back. I mean, what's all that been like?
Yeah, I mean, you start out well. It was, I think in July there was really a ton of transition because, you were losing guys at 14 days at a time, and some of that carried over to the beginning of camp. But then we slowly started getting guys back. So there's been more normalcy in the last week or so, or a couple of weeks, but. It's been, I really don't know how to describe it. It's been a different deal. It really has been. And I think, as coaches, we're just doing our best to try to make sure we give these kids an opportunity to play football and do the things that they want to do and that they love to do. And again, we're just trying to, it's one little piece of the puzzle, just trying to make sure we get our lives and get normalcy back to our lives. And I think our kids are doing a good job adapting, and our coaches are too. So, again, we're getting close to kicking it off. So I think that's going to be a positive for everybody. I think a lot of people out there across the country do want to watch a little college football. So hopefully we'll do our job to putting it out there and putting good product on the field.
When you guys went into full contact, did you notice anything? Was the speed of the game? Were the players as fast as you thought they should be?
It was a gradual process because we've missed spring, we missed June. You think about it, we really didn't get mandatory back to about mid-July. So you had to take things a little bit slower than normally in August. I think that's just was part of it. But I think our kids have come on fast lately, and they're doing really a good job of. They've embraced it, and I think we've made good headway the last week and a half.
Coach, what makes you think y'all are going to run the ball better this season?
Well, actually, every year, Patrick, there's areas that you want to get better at, and certainly that's a goal of ours. We definitely want to run the ball. We feel like, we got an experienced offensive line that's, got a lot of games under their belt. We feel good about our running backs position and the depth there. And it's one thing, Matt's done a great job wherever he's been. He's had success there, and he's had success running the football. So, again, we want to run the football. That's a big component, I think, to winning championships. And so that's our goal.
Coach, how much has Frank Gore Jr. impressed you this fall?
He really has. He's impressed me a lot. He's got great vision. He's a young man that, again, he just has that knack. I don't really know how to explain it, but great vision. Can find the hole, and so I'm excited to watch Frank play. I really am.
Coach, can you speak to the dynamic of going into a season knowing you guys don't have to plan to redshirt anybody?
I think it's a great opportunity for all the players. I really do. I think kudos to the NCAA on that decision. it just gives you an opportunity to, show your product out there and, get games under your belt. And, you're not losing a year. And so I think it's a plus for everybody, all classifications. I think it's a really big plus too for the seniors because they get opportunity. They actually get two opportunities, and they get opportunity this year to show their product to scouts and if it's whether it's a draft grade or it's a status they don't like, they get the opportunity to do it again. So I think the NCAA got it right there. I think it's because there's just so many unknowns this year with all the things going on, and that's been a true blessing, I think. And so again, it's a great thing for the kids, and at the end of the day, as a football coach, that's all you want, what's best for them.
Coach, because of the new NCAA rule, are you going to change how many players you take on the road, or how many are going to dress out for the
No,
home game?
we'll be pretty much, Heath, we'll be status quo there. We'll do what we normally do. I don't think there'll be a lot of change there.
Coach, on preparation on the day before the game, are y'all going to hotels, or what, has anything changed on that?
No, nothing's changed there. We're kind of staying in our same routine. That's a great question, Patrick, but we're going to try to do a great job making sure we have all those precautions when we go, and that's on the road also. But we're going to try to keep it as normal as possible.
Coach, we were talking to Coach Davis last night, and he was, saying how, you always kind of have had a good plan with the guys and talking with the guys about social injustice this past
Right.
and stuff. You led the march back in June and everything like that. Seeing what happened with professional sports last night, do you guys have any type of plan or doing something special maybe with the game next week?
One thing we always try to do in our games, I'll be very honest with you, we're a faith-driven football team, and we feel like we always feel putting God first in everything we do. And we talk about brotherhood here at Southern Miss, and we lock arms, and that's the thing. When you look at a bunch of brothers, black, white, green, it does not matter. You know what I'm saying? We lock arms together, and we really would like for the country just to they kind of need to just kind of look at us or look at a lot of football programs and see how brotherhood works, and a brotherhood is everybody standing together, loving each other, helping each other, because there's strength in diversity. That's the bottom line, and that's what one of the beautiful things about our country is. And matter of fact, we had our chapel this morning, and one thing we did in our coaches' chapel, those are the things we pray for daily. You know what I'm saying? And a brotherhood is what we stand for. That's what we're about, and I think we try to live that and demonstrate that daily, and we certainly try to demonstrate that on game day.
Coach, replacing Jacquez, who's kind of stepped up there?
We've had Terrence Cherry, Dominic Cuon, Terrence Cherry are two young men that have really had good springs. Summers, I should say, spring/summer. But they've come on and really done a good job there. We're looking at some guys too. When you look at inside, you got guys like Andrew Cole, you got Austin Todd. Those guys have done a good job too inside to give some depth, because with Eric Kitchen and Todd Sykes and those guys, have a lot of game experience coming back. So, immediately in that bandit role, Dominic is the guy that will probably be listed as the one though. And we have the ability there, Patrick, kind of switch and flip a few guys around.